This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And Wyoming Sports Talk Today being brought to you by a great list of sponsors. Taco John's of Cheyenne, featuring today Taco Tuesday at all participating Taco John's of Cheyenne. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service over on Highway 30, your home for Jayco Fifth Wheels Travel Trailers. And again, you're going to find some spectacular bargains going on right now. I don't want to really call this off-season, but again, just check out what the gang has for you over at Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, serving up 3 squares 6 days a week. So see them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And again, don't forget, they got 2 convenient drive-thrus at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, right across from Chick-fil-A. Key of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. And again, the 19s are on the lot right now. They got some 18s they must get rid of. So again, if you are looking for a nice little deal, well, I'm telling you, AJ and Greg and the whole crew, they're going to be wheeling and dealing, as they often do over at Key of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Pine Valley Bank, couple of banking locations. Maybe you are looking for that bank that gives you that personal touch, that one-on-one, feeling every time you walk into the doors. Well, you'll find that at both locations of Platte Valley Bank, over on Vandehigh and at the corner of College and Pershing. Bank done the old-fashioned way, customer service. Yes, first and foremost. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs over on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body has 2 locations. They have their main repair center on Dunn Avenue. They have the Auto Glass and Detail Center located on Pershing Boulevard. First Year Bank open Monday through Friday. Talk to them about their special CD rates right now with great annual percentage yields. First Year Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue, directly across the street at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D, the Greenway Commons. That's the home of my buddy Joe Mondello and the gang over at Mondello's Pizzeria, and also the home for La Osteria Mondello. But you want to hit the pizzeria Monday through Friday, maybe Monday through Sunday, where you're going to find delicious pies. And, of course, you'll find their sandwiches, their stromboli, their calzones. They do it all delicious, and they do it fresh, and they do it East Coast style each and every day for you at Mondello's Pizzeria. Mars Plumbing Heating at 1515 Logan Avenue. Again, it's winter time. The wind is blowing, dust, whatever the case may be. Let them come in, check your filters out for your heating system. Also, let them take a look at those heating systems to make sure that they're operating properly, that you're getting the maximum heat out of those vents every time you flip on your heater. Mars Plumbing Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue. And we get things underway with our scoreboard, which is being brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. Here's Nick.
If you missed it from last night, LCCC men's action here at the RAC, at least where they defended against number 23 Western Nebraska, the Cougars. Again, a final score of 93-90 in favor of LCCC. Highlights of at least the game-winning 3x1 Tyrese Patoma have been posted on our social media sites, whether it's the 1480 KRAE Facebook page, Wyoming Sports Talk Today Facebook page, on my Twitter account. Again, you can find that, or either all games, including high school basketball, high school football, even this show, all have been archived on the 1480 KRAE YouTube channel. Also, for tonight, NHL action, as you will see the Minnesota Wild taking on the Boston Bruins at TD Garden. Buffalo Sabres playing host to the New Jersey Devils at KeyBank Center. Carolina Hurricanes taking on the New York Islanders. Pittsburgh Penguins at PPG Paints Arena hosting the Florida Panthers. Philadelphia Flyers traveling out to Washington to take on the Capitals. The Detroit Red Wings hosting the Montreal Canadiens. Columbus Blue Jackets in Tampa Bay taking on the Lightning. St. Louis Blues at Enterprise Center hosting the Dallas Stars. The Avs, Colorado Avalanche, on the road. They'll be in Winnipeg taking on the Jets. Vegas Golden Knights in Sin City at T-Mobile Arena playing host to the New York Rangers. And Edmonton Oilers are traveling out to the Shark Tank to play the San Jose Sharks. That's what's happening in NHL action for tonight.
And if you were on another planet last night, probably understandable. You missed out that number 2 took number 1 out behind the woodshed and beat the living snot out of them. The Clemson Tigers are the national champions of collegiate football as they win in Santa Clara at Levi Stadium, 44-16 over then number 1 Alabama. I guess number 1 seed.
Almost a fitting tribute, especially to one Dwight Clark, a former 49er, former Clemson athlete as well too. So, and on his at least.
And you kind of tip your cap to the job that Dabo Swinney has done since he has been announced the head coach over there in Clemson.
National championships.
Yeah, I didn't write them off, but I'm telling you, they didn't really play anybody tough this year. And I mean, they went through and they smoked Notre Dame.
We're still on the scoreboard.
And they smoked Alabama. Unbelievable. Let's move on to the NBA scoreboard. Denver Nuggets going to try to get back on the winning track tonight. They should, as they're in the Southland to take on the Miami Heat. Nuggets 26-12 in the Western Conference. It will be the Pacers at the Cavaliers at the Quicken Loans Arena. Wizards 76ers in the Wells Fargo Center. Hawks and the Raptors in the Scotia Bank Arena in Toronto. At the Chesapeake Energy Arena in OKC. The Thunder hosting the Timberwolves. The Sacramento Kings will be at the Talking Stick Resort Arena in Phoenix, as Phoenix will host the Sacramento Kings. Knicks and the Warriors tonight in the Oracle Arena, and it's the Hornets and the Clippers at Staples late tonight. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
This is the Pepsi that's got a date with your taste buds. We're talking 1,000 bubbles dancing a two-step with you and 2 tacos at 2 a.m.
Order number 83? Come on, you're up!
This is the Pepsi that has mastered the art of the late-night munchies and is always down to dig into some deep dish.
Hey, we don't do deep dish, capiche?
Try telling that to Chicago. This is the Pepsi for po' boys, pulled pork sliders, and the godfather of all sandwiches, the Godfather. This is the Pepsi for street carts, anything a la carte, and is dying to make the leap into your grocery cart. Come on, take us home with you. This is the Pepsi for those who are forever fun. This is the Pepsi for every generation.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 KRAE.
It is Wyoming Sports Talk Today. No hoops for this evening as well as tomorrow evening. Yeah, you get a little break here. We'll be back at it Thursday in the RAC as we will kick off Region 9 play as the Northwest Lady Trappers and Trappers will head to town. Then we hit the road on Saturday for a double dip against the Lady Thunderbirds and the Thunderbirds over at Sweet Erickson Gymnasium. So, we're into the throes of the basketball season, and
same with the JUCO, but also to something we failed to mention as well on the scoreboard side is the Cowboys in action, if anyone really cares, but they will be on the road taking on the Aztecs.
Cowboys even care.
Yeah, as the Aztecs 8-6, Cowboys 4-11, they will be on the road. A game that will at least get underway at 8 o'clock tonight. If anyone out there even cares at this point in time, it will be also too on television for whatever reason on CBS Sports Network. So the Cowboys still in action there, at least in Mountain West Conference play. Again, as they continue on tonight, taking on San Diego State. So anyways, but we had a thriller last night, at least in the college ranks. Again, I think our product a little bit better than what's going over in Laramie, especially after what we saw last night. How about a turnaround from what we saw for LCCC? Again, even if you do the selection of at least with Western Nebraska, what we saw in Scottsbluff, what we saw last night at the RAC, two completely different teams. A team that, again, Jason Ficca, at least head coach of the Golden Eagles, wants his team to kind of be at this peak level here in 2019. Well, they kind of showed up last night, and they showed that they're a team that's hopefully going to shock a few.
All right, I'm going to stop you right now. I'm going to stop you. Did you give them a puncher's chance at winning last night? Be honest.
LCCC? No. Not at all.
See, and remember I had mentioned in our pregame show, especially last year, how they got the snot kicked out of them in the Cougar Palace.
Okay, that's last year. This is
I know.
This is this season.
But I also said to you, I said, watch what may happen here.
Sure.
And again, even talking with Jason Fick on our pregame show, there was a sense that Yeah, we know this is a really good team, and I'm not going to take nothing away from the Cougars. They are a very good product. Sanchez is really good. Gervais Green, 40 points last night?
Yeah.
You know, there's a couple of products on there, and Cuxhausen was a no-show, the Scottsbluff product, for the most part. But the thing is, you know, playing in the RAC has that definitely has that home court advantage for the Golden Eagles, and they rose up last night.
Even minus without, again, not a massive crowd out there, let's be honest, at the RAC again. Your Armistice students have yet to return to school at LCCC, so again, it was kind of a barren crowd, but I think that's something that Coach Fick discussed with you on the pregame show, of saying, if we're a team that relies on at least the fans and getting pumped up like that, that's a team I don't want to have. This is a team that should feel its own self, should kind of groove off the vibes of each other, at least the teammates on that floor. So, and they certainly did last night. Again, that final 23 seconds of the contest, or at least I'd say about 23 seconds. Again, where it was pretty much kill some time off the clock, which Daquan did, at least for a little bit. Try to move on the inside, and again found an open Tyrese Potoma, who can hit from anywhere on the floor, and he clearly showed that in at least earlier threes that he had in that contest. But again, there were many opportunities, many players that you would probably want to at least put the ball in their hands, and it was just that for last night. The fortunate thing, or at least timing was, and the man who was open was Tyrese Potoma.
You know, it's interesting because we've seen that how many times with I'll use the Golden State Warriors, where they've hit from beyond the arc instead of going into the big guy. You know, when you've had your big guy in there, and matter of fact, David Applegren was on the floor. You'd figure once that Daquan, started shredding through to the inside, he could have dished it off.
And granted, at that point in time, you are tied. There was no, again, it was not do or die for Coach Jason Fick and the LCCC Golden Eagles. It was tied at 90s for that 23 seconds. Again, you were on the offensive side of the court. Again, had time to kill, so it was pretty much of, not so much a gamble, but it was almost of, hey, nothing really could go wrong at this point in time. Nothing is going to cost us the game, at least here in the next 23 seconds, potentially, again, if we do take this wide-open three-shot by Tyrese. And again, Coach Fick, I think even on the post-game show, said with you that, again, Tyrese was a good candidate. Especially Courtney Dean was a good candidate of what he was doing last night. He was, again, talk about a new year, new face, or at least, again, a new revitalization for Courtney Dean. He had a career high last night.
And Mateo also was he
was a quiet, as we mentioned last night, he was a quiet 22-point effort.
He was hitting some bullets last night as well. The thing was, in last night's game, and I'm glad you mentioned his name, the Denver, Colorado product, Courtney Dean. That's what Coach Ficka needs for this team to be a contender, so to speak, in Region 9.
Yeah.
We know that Applegren's going to get you, double figures in boards. And inside, now he's going to be facing smaller guys. I mean, matter of fact, I think the Trappers' starter is like 6'7". I mean, he should dominate on the inside here.
So definitely have an advantage. But
right, height advantage. But then you look at Potoma's already proven his worth. Spragon can hit well, and he's also pretty decent at the free throw line. Zovko, when he comes off the bench now in that shooter's role, he's doing pretty well. But a kid like Dean, and hopefully when they get back the other youngster who is injured right now,
Kyle Cabs,
also the Denver, Colorado product as well. When they get him back, if you can get Dean and Cabs consistent on a night by night basis every time that LCCC laces them up, and again, I'm talking about maybe a dozen points, 6 boards. LCCC is going to be a very tough customer to beat.
They certainly will be. Again, right now, as we wrapped up last night, at least for both squads, again, with only the men playing last night, but now focus switches to Region 9 North play, at least divisional play. Again, as we get upcoming here this Thursday here at home, again, with Northwest College coming all the way down from Powell, Wyoming, to take on LCCC. Again, games that, at least with the women starting up first at 5:30. Men, tentative schedule right after that game ends at 7:30. Again, all games Heard here exclusively on 1480 KRAE 101.1 FM, 1480KRAE.com, and video live streaming, which we are one of the few, if not the only, in the state of Wyoming who are doing this. Again, for not only just LCCC, but high school basketball as well, too. Again, where we video live stream on Periscope and our 1480 KRAE YouTube channel.
And thank you for what you did last night, too. And again, you know, Nick and myself, and not so much that we go our separate ways when we're done. I mean, we live under the same roof, but, he's got his life, I got my life. But the thing is, my life right now is The Sopranos. But what we added last night, what you added, and that was like right there at the ball game. You said, hey, you went down, talked to the official scorer, said, here's my email, send that to me, and boom, you had the official stats up there. That's very rare that you can have when I'm reading. You saw exactly what I was reading last night. I thought that was a really good addition to the program. And and this is what I appreciate about my son and what he has done for our sports product here on 1480 KRAE. He's never satisfied. And you always want to take it one step further. You want to make this thing and again, for the folks out there,
I want it to damn near rival the ESPN.
I know, but what I'm saying for the folks out there, whether they care or not, if you haven't seen the product, you definitely want to see it because for Podunk, Wyoming,
it ain't chump change. And
that's
again,
right.
For it being free, it seems like again where other entities out there might charge you a few bucks or here or there. Again, for a free product, it's not too shabby. Again, at least I try to put some pride into it. Again, not even just LCCC, but again, high school presentation of what we do, especially with the pregame interviews that Chris Polton does with me. Again, also too getting postgame comments from the coaches, if not players, which we saw at least at that East game and even Cheyenne South. But again, it's something that is unique here to 1480 KRAE. It's unique here in the state of Wyoming. No one else is doing it right now. I would not doubt people are tuning in and probably trying to set up some way, but right now we are the first. We are your one-stop shop for all of this right now.
And again, too, now you understand, Pops here, how I get sometimes because I'm very, and I'll use the word, I'm very anal about preparation.
Yeah.
I don't want to go in and you know how it is like that first week of football season. I don't want to go in and have stuff handed to me 5 minutes before the game.
Yeah.
I want to sit down, I want to prep, I want to know the names, I want to try to remember everything so I can put down the notes, and let's get to 40 minutes of basketball action. So again, if you haven't had a chance, and whether you like me, dislike me, that's fine. I understand. I'm tough-skinned, but you watch the production, and again, matter of fact, I know the coaches, and we've had coaches from abroad. And across, the 48 contiguous U.S. states, Alaska and Hawaii, also peeking in because they're watching possible potentials that might be playing for their either Division II or Division I.
That's not even just with the JUCO side, again, with high school. Again, it's something that coaches have reiterated, whether it was football, whether it is basketball. Again, it does help out their causes. It does help out those players get those eyes, at least attention out there across the U.S. or kind of worldwide, since, again, 2018, 2019, here we are, where, again, you can tune into something here in Cheyenne, Wyoming, from wherever across the globe as long as you have an internet connection. So, again, it's something that's continue to evolve with, at least the visual side, even for Wyoming Sports Talk today, trying to evolve it every single time.
And we'll remind the media department over there at LCCC that a lot of folks are watching and listening to LCCC Hoops right here on this radio station.
Well, not the media department. They got their own thing. How about the front office, or at least
the media? The folks there that do.
Well, I thought your media department, like the media program.
No. You know what I'm talking about. All right, real quick. Oh, I know. Before we go to the break here,
how about before you go to the break, you tell who's going to be on the show?
I will do that, but also too, I wanted to issue my thanks for the job you did last night on the ball game. Real quick, do we have the results from our college football? I couldn't find it anywhere.
It'd be on 1480KRAE.com.
I went on there and I couldn't find it.
It would be on there. Everything, again, is outlined, at least current record, where you're one game ahead of me.
Still one game. So that means we basically sucked in the college bowls, right?
I think we did all right. I don't know what cumulative of what we did, but neither of our championship winners moved on. Again, I had Notre Dame, you had Alabama, so that was the
Alabama lost.
Yeah, so again, where you could have had a 2-game lead, now you only have 1 on me. So it was pretty much of what we, before college football, I think we were pretty much near even, and it pretty much stayed the same afterwards. So we'll get into that, at least the picks coming up on Wednesday or Friday, if we decide at least to do a Friday show. Again, continue on all the way up until Super Bowl.
Yeah, we should do a Friday show because we're not on the road until Saturday late.
I need a break sometime. I've been at it since I don't know how long.
Welcome to my world, pal.
Yeah, but you're not doing high school.
I know.
You barely do anything at this point.
I stepped away from high school. Let you younger guys do it. Pat Graham joins us here in a few moments. He's a Denver AP sports writer. It's always fun to talk with Pat. We'll get some information. Matter of fact, there's some rumblings out of Broncos camp on a possible coach, and I'm thinking to myself, they're going to screw this one up again. But just like they've done in the quarterback situation.
Well, we'll also pick his brain as well, too, with the Nuggets situation
and
right
baseball.
now. Baseball's on a back burner because the Rockies haven't really done a whole lot. Again,
movement
has kind of slowed down.
They got Murphy. I mean,
who cares? But again, more important things right now in the city of Denver, at least regarding the Avalanche, doing pretty well so far. Again, kind of continuing momentum from last year.
We'll go with the winter sports.
Nuggets, how they are still the number 1 seed, or at least number 1 team in the Western Conference, is just unbelievable to me. But again, we'll pick his brain on pretty much all Denver pro sports out there.
Also, too, we will have Coach Neil Breen. He'll be joining us as we will get together for our Cheyenne Stampede.
He'll have a player along with him, at least a new forward that they acquired in a trade a few weeks ago. Again, Kody Kifer, I do believe is how you pronounce his name. Again, we will talk with him as well, too, on the Cheyenne Stampede Coaches Show, which will be now in 2019 on Tuesdays, since Wednesdays going forward. We will have LCCC basketball take place. So, again, where it was in 2018 on Wednesdays, now it will be on Tuesdays. Same time, however, 4:30 to 5. Again, the Cheyenne Stampede Coaches Show heard exclusively here on 1480 KRAE.
And with the LCCC Coaches Show moving from Thursday to Wednesdays, where it was exclusively in 2018.
Guess what? That's still on Thursdays because, again, they play on Wednesdays. I just said they played on Wednesday. So how are we going to do a Coaches Show on Wednesday?
Well, I don't know. We usually do.
We got to move it because due to the Thursday game this week, it will be Wednesday. So
you got me all confused.
Well, again, this is the wacky week. So again, had to alter, but for this going forward today, Tuesdays, 2019. Is when you can hear Cheyenne Stampede Coaches Show.
All right.
And there's a lot to talk with. Again, another victory as well, too, this past weekend down in Plano, Texas, against the Dallas Snipers that the Stampede picked up.
Man, the Snipers, correct me if I'm wrong, they were an over 500 team, too. So, good job for the Stamps picking up that. Again, winning on the road, that's always the tough thing to do as well. We're going to take a timeout. And when we come back, we will have a chance, hopefully, and he'll be by the phone there. We'll chat with Pat Graham, the Denver AP sports writer, after these words right here on 1480 KRAE.
For almost 60 years, 1480 KRAE has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Add to that live play-by-play sports featuring high Around 21. On Wednesday, it will be partly sunny with highs around 52, and on Wednesday night, it will be mostly cloudy with lows around 30.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ballgame. Let's play ball! You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
It is a Tuesday afternoon, and it's Wyoming Sports Talk today. We welcome back a good guest and friend, and he being Pat Graham, Denver AP sports writer. And Pat, first off, Happy New Year. Hope the holidays were very good to you and your family. Did you have a chance to kind of hang around the Denver area during the holidays?
Guys, how are you? Thanks for having me on as always. Yes, I did. Yes, it was a little cold down here then, but it was good. We just had just nice and low key.
You know, speaking of cold, things went really cold for the Denver Broncos. And I'm sure, as I remember our conversation before the season began, you were expecting a little better out of the Broncos this season. And they were headed that way, and then they went on that horrid win streak towards the end of the season, which eventually cost Vance Joseph his job. But you know, did the Broncos season kind of just leave you with a lot of disappointment?
Well, I think a lot like a lot of fans. It's just I think the best case scenario you're looking at 9-7 if that's if everything broke right. So I mean, 9-7. What's that get you? It gets you nothing. So I 6-10, and just it's time to blow this thing up, and let's go round two. I guess that's what we're gonna do here in a second when they hire looks like one of these two coaches, and we'll go from there.
Was Vance Joseph put in place? And again, this is one of those tough questions to answer. But in your opinion, and I feel my opinion, do you feel like Vance Joseph was put into that position where he was not going to succeed? He was basically brought in there to fail.
Well, some people look at it that way, and I guess you can. It's I don't know. I guess. It's just funny because you're starting over again, so it's just another rebuild, it's another start over. In some ways, maybe you say, could you have wrote it out one more year with him? No way the fan base would have gone for that, but maybe you need to try just to get through this this turbulent period and one more draft class and see where you go. But this is where they're at, and now this is the biggest draft under Elway right here. Man, this team has got a lot of holes, though. A lot of holes.
Well, I think also, too, with the upcoming draft, but also, too, this head coach selection also, too, defines John Elway's kind of job, or at least GM period here at Denver with the Broncos. As you mentioned, again, they've kind of selected it down to two, one being a defensive coordinator, the other one an offensive line coach, or at least former potentially. The old adage is defense wins championships. Do we anticipate that the Broncos are going to go kind of more back to that no-fly zone, strengthening up our defense route on a head coaching side, or what's best right now, the direction for the Broncos?
Oh, great question. Who knows? I mean, where do you start? I mean, where's the playmaker on offense that scares you? I mean, Philip Lindsay had a great season. Don't get me wrong, but and he's one of those weapons, and maybe Emmanuel Sanders when he's healthy, he scares you, but. If you don't have a quarterback, what do you got? And do they have their answer in Case Keenum? Some would argue no. But then again, you look at Green Bay, and they have Aaron Rodgers, and they did nothing this year. Defense, man, they have a lot of question marks on defense they need to address. I don't even know where to begin with this team, but it's funny though because you listen to fans and you listen to that's the nice thing about fans is they're passionate and. The expectations in Denver are so high, but I just look at like a fan base of like look at the Kansas City Chiefs, home game, number one seed this weekend, and look, they haven't won a home playoff game since the '90s, the early '90s. I mean, they would kill to be in the Broncos' shoes, wouldn't they?
Exactly. Well, according to 9 News, and again, this has been thrown out that Vic Fangio, along with Mike Munchak, are the two candidates right now, the leading candidates to take over the Denver Broncos, and I'm scratching my head on this one, Pat. I'm thinking to myself, come on, man. I mean, Munchak was under 500 in his 3 seasons with Tennessee. Fangio's he's good on the defensive side, but as a head guy, I mean, again, this is a situation.
Never been a head guy.
Yeah, I mean, this is a situation here where I'm thinking, really, the Broncos are not starting even in the right spot. I mean, we got a Jack Del Rio sitting out there. You got a Mike McCarthy. I don't know who's interviewed with Elway right now, but there's got to be better selections out there, for gosh sakes.
Well, that's the thing is they want sort of an old guard. They went Vance Joseph. They kind of went the younger route, the up and coming guy, and it didn't work out the way they wanted. And now they're just going complete opposite direction and going with a KG veteran. Like a Munchak is. Yeah, I agree with you. I would rather have like Brian Flores has been hired, but just something like maybe a Zach Taylor or just something. But was Taylor or was it Flores who got hired by Green Bay? Is that right?
What, McCarthy?
No, Green Bay. Who did Green Bay hire? Was it Flores? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it was Flores. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So like Zach Taylor or something like just like the Rams quarterback coach. Just something just young. I don't know. I just young with innovative ideas and just a new way of doing it because the model is broken. I mean, right now the model's broken. Get some new ideas in there and get some new blood in there and get some new schemes, new concepts. I just look at the offense around the league, and like Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes, and Tyreek Hill. I mean, I know those are special players and they're hard to find, but you got to find them. You got to find something. You got to do something with that offense because it's broken.
Final thought for me, at least regarding the Broncos, for you, Pat, is, again, going back to the draft for this upcoming season, Broncos will have a top 10 pick. But you look at that top 10, especially where you mentioned with Case Keenum, kind of a question mark, at least, of a franchise quarterback for the Denver Broncos. Again, a lot of teams in that top 10, at least 49ers, name Arizona Cardinals, Oakland Raiders, a lot of teams pretty much have their franchise quarterbacks and aren't probably going to be looking at drafting one there early in the first round. Is there a possibility that the Broncos go back and draft another quarterback coming up here in the first round?
I think so. You know what? The guy that everyone kind of has their eyes on, and I don't know if he's going to be around when the Broncos pick, is like Daniel Jones from Duke. I mean, he's a guy that could be there, and he's pretty good. He's had a pretty good career at Duke, and I think that's kind of the guy that they may have their eyes on. I don't know. Be nice to see in 2 years Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he looked pretty good, didn't he? I mean, he looked good in a Bronco uniform, wouldn't he?
Absolutely.
Trade one orange for another orange, maybe?
Oh, I think that would be a great idea. Do you see him coming out early within the next couple of seasons?
Well, yeah, so he can't. He's got 2 more years since he's a freshman, so he'll come out. So, could you? How about this? How about this scenario? I saw this on Twitter today, and I was like, this would be the most devastating blow to anyone. Is if, like, let's say the Patriots, rode Tom Brady for another year, and then went 1-15 after he retired, and they drafted Trevor Lawrence, and that's their franchise quarterback. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, that would be killer, and that would be great for the fans over there in Foxborough.
Go from Tom Brady to Trevor Lawrence. Wow, that wouldn't be too bad.
All right, we're going to move on as Nick wrapped up there with the Broncos. If the playoffs were held today, and believe it or not, I'm kind of impressed because we are about halfway done with the NBA season. Denver Nuggets would be the number 1 seed. Not so much scratching my head, Pat, because we're expecting the Nuggets to be a little bit better, maybe a playoff-bound team, but wow, I mean, at the can, they have been just almost invincible.
They sure have. I mean, with the ride a 10-game winning streak right now at home. Who do they play right now? They play the Lakers in the first round, wouldn't they? If the first round started right now, they'd
have the Lakers. Yeah,
that'd be a great matchup. I'm just kidding. Lakers have a pretty good guy in LeBron James there, but no, it's funny because if you just said, I was talking to some people, some Nuggets fans, and I'm like, they're like, tough loss in Houston last night. They got to find a way to beat them. I'm like, yeah, but if you said 41 games-ish in, you're in first place in the Western Conference, would you take that? And they're like, we're taking 5th, So, I mean, the Nuggets they're an amazing team because they have all sorts of talent. They're so deep. They can go, I mean, it's amazing when you can afford the luxury of, Millsap being out and Gary Harris being out and Will Barton being out, 3 starters, and yet you don't miss a beat because you have Malik Beasley stepping up, and Monte Morris stepping up, and Juancho Hernan Gomez stepping up. It's just the roster is loaded, and they have nice pieces. They have nice parts. I mean, and they're interchangeable.
We're talking with Pat Graham, Denver AP sports writer. You know, it's interesting with Jokic that he picked up that big paycheck this year, and deservedly so. And the one thing that I like about the guy grabbing the big paycheck, he hasn't missed a beat. I think I'm watching the same guy, and it's like he's aging and he's getting better every game on the floor.
Well, you're right, and he's a point guard trapped in a center's body, and that's just a good way of saying that he sees the floor so well, and that's what he's a logistical nightmare, because you got to, when he plays up top, you got to mind him, because he sees the floor so well. He sees the floor through a point guard's paradigm, and it's amazing to watch him. And the thing about him is he just he doesn't look like your typical athletic center. He's just this guy that he just does amazing things, and you're almost like in awe of it, because you're like, how'd that guy just do that? And yet he'll do it.
I'm thinking of all the wins to point right now with the Nuggets, and yeah, they beat the Warriors at the Pepsi Center. But a win that sticks with me with the Denver Nuggets was the win against the Raptors in Toronto, and that win to me showed me that Malone's got it. He's got the parts to this engine that could make some noise in the playoffs.
Well, they could, and it depends on the matchup. There's some matchups you just want to steer clear from. If you're the Nuggets, you don't want to see Houston, because Houston has your number right now, as evidenced by last night. Nobody wants anything to do with LeBron James. I mean, everybody knows what he does in the postseason. So there's some matchups that could trip them up potentially. But you could see, I don't know, like maybe a Portland or something, or just something like that. Maybe a San Antonio, that might be a little tougher, but something like that. Maybe if a Sacramento gets in or a Utah gets in, those would be favorable. But it's funny, because I think the bar's been raised. I mean, they haven't made the playoffs in a while. And I think that if they got in and if they won a first-round series, I think that this team would benefit greatly from that.
If the Nuggets are to win a first-round series, obviously we're, again, miles ahead of at least postseason right now for NBA. But do the Nuggets, as we talk about pieces, and again, they are the number one seed so far in the Western Conference, been able to hold it for quite some time right now, and again, kind of been a shocking team in at least across the NBA. Is it almost a kind of questionable thought to assume that the Nuggets could be a team that makes it to the NBA Finals possibly this season?
Why not? I mean, if they get the number one seed and they play as well as they do at home, or number two seed play as well as they do at home, sure. Then you raise, you face a Golden State team or something like that, and who knows? But or I don't know. I think this team is. The thing is they're so good and they're so deep. But in over a 7-game series, can teams make adjustments? Can teams stop them? What is that going to look like? Can Michael Malone do the same thing? Because Michael Malone right now in one-offs is just pulling all the right moves. He's just. I mean, I'm impressed with the job he's done coaching. I don't think he gets enough credit for the job he's done to get this team back on track. And that's what happens with continuity. And when we go back to the Broncos a little bit, Vance Joseph 2 years, boom. I mean, who knows what would happen if he got a third year? I'm not saying that. I'm not advocating that, but at some point, you gotta let these coaches struggle through the struggles, because look at Michael Malone. If you'd have jettisoned him, after last season, would the Nuggets be in this position? I can't tell you that they would.
One final thought here on the Denver Nuggets, and then we want to move on to the Avs. Let's talk, in your opinion right now, and again, you mentioned Coach Malone, and I mentioned Jokic to set the table there, set the bar high for the Denver Nuggets. In your opinion, who has been that Denver Nugget thus far that is not getting all the press, but is that secondary MVP right now on the floor helping out?
Well, it's Jamal Murray. I mean, to me, Jokic is going to be what he is. Jokic is going to be what he is. He's an extremely good player, probably their first All-Star since Melo in 2011. But to me, that it's funny, because I was asking someone the other day, and it's like, how often do you see a team, their alpha and their best player be two different people? Usually it's the same guy. It's like a James Harden, the alpha and the best player. There's some rarities, like I'd say maybe Toronto. Kyle Lowry's probably their alpha, and Kawhi Leonard's their best player. So the Nuggets have that. I mean, their alpha is Jamal Murray. They march to his beat, and their best players, Nikola Jokic, who's a phenomenal player. And so, to me, how far they go is going to depend on Jamal Murray.
And you know what? And I'm glad you mentioned that because the former Kentucky Wildcat, he's a steal right now at $3.5 million. All right, we got to move on now to some hockey. Matter of fact, Nick, I'm going to let you take over on the hockey start. So go ahead and let's talk about our Avs down the road.
Well, at least the Avs down the road. Again, 14-8 so far on the road tonight. Again, taking on the Winnipeg Jets. Kind of carrying momentum over from last season. Again, making a playoff-bound team. Fortunately, at least getting up into the first round to the Nashville Predators. Do the Avs have enough pieces this year, as we're talking Nuggets, to at least get back in the playoffs and make some moves during the postseason? Do the Avs have enough pieces so far this season to make it past that first round of playoffs?
Oh boy, that's a great question. They have enough on the first line. I just don't know if they have enough secondary scoring after Landeskog and McKinnon and Rantanen. After that, I just don't know. I mean, I'm still waiting for Tyson Jones to step up and Comfer and guys like that. And I just haven't Kerfoot and Soderberg. I mean, they're fine players. They need more scoring, more production out of those players.
Your final thought here from me, I look ahead at the two teams in front of the Avs right now in the Central Division of the Western Conference, and I think if I would put a worry face on, I'm more worried about the Winnipeg Jets than I am the Nashville Predators.
Well, I mean, the Jets are great. I mean, Jets are playing fantastic hockey right now, and I think Dustin Byfuglien's out right now, and that's a blow to them because he's one of the best defensemen in the league. I just think the Avs need to take care of business. I mean, right now what scares me about the Avalanche is their goaltending. Grubauer has been solid. Varley's been hurt a little bit. I just don't know if Varley is Varley from a couple years ago or if he'll ever be that player again. I mean, I don't know. On any given night, I just don't know if they can steal a game right now. You hope they can get back to that and have that confidence that they can steal a game, but seeing is believing, and during that 6-game skid, you didn't see it.
All right, Pat, well, we got to cut you loose. We want to say thank you again for joining us. Next time we talk to you, we ought to have to talk spring training, pal.
Hey, anytime. Thanks for having me on.
All right, take care. Pat Graham, Denver AP sports writer on 1480 KRAE. Oh, by the way, Nick, I was just looking at the last 10 games, and your Vegas Golden Knights right now, one of the hottest teams in the West, as they've won 7 out of their last 10. They're 7-1-2. So right now they've come from – I actually thought, man, that was just a flash in the pan last year, but – now they're starting to play some good hockey. Now, they kind of worry.
You only lose a few big names, one being James Neal, but for Vegas right now, again, it's a team that kept solid, a team that has had a relatively healthy Marc-Andre Fleury behind net as much as they're doing their thing of last year of rotating in and out from Marc-Andre Fleury. But, yeah, Vegas right now competing in a very tough Pacific Division, again, with San Jose on their tail, also to Anaheim as well. A few teams.
The Flames are the surprise right now.
Yeah, the Flames, absolutely. What they're doing so far, again, not a surprise out of the Pacific. They were expected to be at this point a few seasons ago when they did eventually get upset by at least Anaheim Ducks on the first round. The Flames have talent, but is it a team that's going to win the Pacific? Does it have enough to up in a Vegas, up in possibly a San Jose Shark run? San Jose, a team that was anticipated to win the Pacific. Again, there's a lot of talent in the Pacific right now. Do the Flames have enough to get it done? Possibly. I just don't see. I think Vegas right now is showing their true colors. They're firing on all cylinders. It's a team that's been here, did it, done it. They're riding, kind of like with the Avalanche, riding that momentum of what was last season and trying to, again, at least for Vegas, hoist the cup. Again, this is a team that's fresh removed from being in the Stanley Cup final in their first season.
Also, the team that is just hot. I mean, they're spitting bullets every time on the ice right now. Tampa Bay Lightning.
That's no surprise. Tampa Bay has been doing this.
It's when they get to the playoffs they decide.
Yeah, that's when they collapse. But Tampa Bay, what they're doing, 32-8-2. That's no surprise. Yeah. Tampa Bay has done that.
All right. Well, we want to thank Pat for joining us again. We will have our Cheyenne Stampede Coaches Show coming up 4:30 here today on 1480 KRAE. Neil Breen and one of his players will be joining us, and we'll look forward to that conversation. We're going to take a timeout. We'll come back. More sports to talk about right here on 1480 KRAE. In life, you question everything. The same should be true when it comes to managing your wealth. What are your investment recommendations based on? How much are you paying in fees? And how can those fees impact your returns? Charles Schwab encourages investors to get engaged and ask tough questions. To learn more, call the Schwab Cheyenne branch at 307-459-0998 or visit schwab.com/Cheyenne. Charles Schwab and Company, Incorporated. Member SIPC.
Did you know High West Energy, based in Pine Bluffs, has provided low-cost, reliable electricity to Laramie County for over 75 years? Our recipe for success is simple. High West Energy is an electric co-op. Our customers own us and share in the profits. That's why High West Energy has grown to serve 10,000 customers in 3 states, including 20 subdivisions surrounding Cheyenne and F.E. Warren Air Force Base. Keeping energy affordable for 75 years, highwestenergy.com.
A Touchstone Energy partner.
With the new year here, the fun and excitement gets even better at Wyoming Downs with 2 Cheyenne locations in the Cheyenne Plaza and at the Outlaw Saloon on the South Greeley Highway. You'll find new simulcasting games, including All Canvas Jackpot, Cowboy Wilds, Jackpot Blaze, Splendor of the Sphinx, and a whole bunch more. Remember to get your player's card to enjoy triple points on Sundays, along with double points on Mondays, and also on Fridays and Saturdays, it's Mystery Moolah. So stop by today and visit Wyoming Downs in the Cheyenne Plaza at 3617 East Lincoln Way and at the Outlaw Saloon at 312 South Greeley Highway. For more information, go to wydowns.com.
Totally transformed, the new 2019 Kia Soul has an eye-catching exterior with an interior to match. I'm AJ Miller for Kia of Cheyenne, and the new 2019 Kia Soul has more to choose from, like available cool ventilated seats or heated seats for winter comfort. Kia Soul also has available technology like UVO, voice command navigation, automatic temperature control, and smart key with push-button start. Come by and compare Kia Soul today at Kia of Cheyenne or go to kiaofcheyenne.com and we'll make it easy.
Are you looking for a pharmacist who will actually take the time to talk to you? Then come to Medicap Pharmacy. We're dedicated to healthcare only, which means we'll fill your prescription quickly, and then we'll make time to listen, answer your questions, explain your prescriptions, and tell you about possible drug interactions.
Medicap Pharmacy, we'll always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
Capital Lumber is number 1 in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need.
For over 50 years, Capital Lumber Company has offered a full line of hardware and lumber selections. Plenty of materials, even for the do-it-yourselfer. So talk with one of the many experts today at Capital Lumber Company. Capital Lumber Company is the best in the region, and they are your true value hardware store. Lumber One in Cheyenne. Capital Lumber Company at 1222 Dunn Avenue.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 45 and winds out of the west at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And for tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 21. On Wednesday, it'll be partly sunny with highs around 52. And on Wednesday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 30.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 KRAE.
When we get into the next hour, we're going to get a chance to talk some high school hoops, what Nick and Chris were involved in quite extensively Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and you had a chance to look at all 3 high schools. We'll talk more in depth about the Taco John's invite. But what really, for us, you, me, Nick, and I don't know how much excitement it had, the wild card round.
I didn't see any of it because, again, we're busy with high school.
And I watched very little of it. I really didn't have a dog in the fight. I didn't care, yeah. If I was to be picking them, I might have gone 3-1 because I had the Colts beating the Texans. For some reason, I felt Indianapolis is just playing hot right now.
Yeah.
And Luck is throwing BBs. So I didn't
anticipate them upsetting the Texans, though, especially on the road. Houston was a team in my preseason picks I had going at least winning the AFC Championship, representing in the Super Bowl. But I For me, it felt like a Cinderella story that hit midnight for Indianapolis. Hey, congrats, you made it in the playoffs by beating Tennessee, but it was going to end against the Texans. I thought Texans were a for-real team.
I think it may end for sure this weekend.
No, I absolutely. I think Patrick Mahomes, I think, again, as Pat talked about, hey, it's been since the 90s since Kansas City has won a home playoff game. I think that changes. This has been a very special season for the Chiefs. And, again, Patrick Mahomes, you're possible, and I think more probable NFL MVP. He's got to be.
Absolutely. The game that really bothered me, and they just didn't seem to take advantage. I mean, they had a lot of things handed to them, and they just kind of bubbled and stumbled like they do in the playoffs, that being the Seahawks. I think they were the better team on Saturday, and the Cowboys beat them 24-22. Cowboys.
Again, Seattle I've not believed in. Seattle has flaws, many of them. They were fortunate enough, again, they played in a dumpy NFC West where, again, they had the opportunity to beat up on a 49er, beat up on a Cardinals team. For Seattle, you talk about teams that were hot. Dallas was that team. They were not lighting the world on fire, but they were a team that's kind of, they charged ahead, especially after the Alex Smith injury in Washington, with the Redskins did have the NFC East lead at that point in time. They kind of took over and took advantage of that where, hey, Philadelphia is struggling. New York is terrible. Washington is now without their franchise quarterback. All right, let's take control of this thing. Is Dallas going to have a miraculous run in this playoffs? No, I think for them, their Cinderella kind of story, quote unquote, ends as well too. But that doesn't surprise me that Dallas especially at home, they got it done. Doesn't surprise me.
Right. We looked at the games on Sunday. Chargers, not so much I didn't give them a puncher's chance, but
I expected that. Chargers, to beat again.
Baltimore,
Chargers.
Now you got to remember, Baltimore beat the LA Chargers in Carson. And
that's regular season. Again, things change obviously in the postseason. We've seen wackier things happen. But again, the Chargers are the better team. Let's be honest. On paper, between Baltimore and LA, Chargers are the better team. And Chargers are a team, as you talked about, where, again, you brought up the big controversy of, well, why are they playing on the road with a record? Do we need to alter these playoffs? I think the Chargers have that in their mind of going, hey, we're getting disrespected by this playoff format. Let's prove why we are better than this seeding right now, why we are the best team in the AFC. And does it happen? Do they take advantage of that? At least I give them a fighting shot against the Patriots, as much as that's going to be a tough one, but it would not surprise me if the Chargers.
I think they can match score for score. I still give the defensive nod to New England over the Chargers in that one. And again, do I see an AFC West AFC championship?
Absolutely.
Very, very possible.
I think that's a good possibility.
Now, the team I thought their Cinderella season was going to come to an end, and it did. And it's interesting, too, because how many times have we seen kickers frozen? Timeout.
I mean,
right before,
it happens a lot more
before
than
the snap. Yeah. And, of course, the kicker hits it. And then the next time, I mean, it went clank, clunk, out. And Philadelphia, the thing.
Talk about a Cinderella team of where they should not be at this point.
But you know what? You may have Nick Foles back there, but the X factor for the Philadelphia Eagles offensively,
let's be honest,
like him or not,
let's be honest. Philadelphia is not winning the Super Bowl. They are not making it to the Super Bowl this year.
They're still the winning champion.
There's no way. Again, hey, kudos to them. They certainly are still at this point in time. But coming up this weekend, they will no longer be. Let's be honest with ourselves. But Philadelphia, again, kudos to them of what they did, again, fighting their way into the playoffs, essentially like the Indianapolis Colts right now on a magnificent run. But is it a team I'm scared of? Again, Chicago was, what, less than a foot? Well, I mean, no pun intended on that one, but I mean, again, you're talking about where Chicago had that game won, and it was all just due to, again, clank off the left side of the upright that hit the bottom of the crossbar, and again fell forward towards.
And you know what? And that's just the the brakes of the football, because if the football would have hit the other way, it would have went over.
It would have over. Yeah.
So I mean, it was the weirdest thing that could happen in Chicago.
I give credit again, not at least remembering the kicker's name for Chicago, but I give him credit for that post-game conference that he had with all faces and eyes and ears on him, and like a champ. Now, is he to blame for the loss? Absolutely. Again, that is his job to put up points. Again, kick those field goals. Absolutely. That's why he gets paid that money. That's why he's designated in that position. He is absolutely to be blamed for. But I thought in the post game, at least his comments after that, I thought, again, he was honest. He realized what he did. Again, took the full blame. I respect him for it.
All right, let's size it up here.
Glad you had nothing else to say.
No, you said everything that really needs to be said about the guy. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles did exactly what they do. They froze him. Yeah. Called that time. I mean, you saw the timeout right before the snap, and he got it through the uprights, and I knew that second one was going to be no good. And you could see that thing just squeaking off to the left, boom, hit the bar. And then when I saw it hit the crossbar, I said, oh, it went in. Yeah. Good. Next thing I know, I see it's kicking out to, the 20-yard line.
But that game, though, for Chicago, that does surprise me. I figure Chicago was that team that could surprise a few in the playoffs.
But Philly showed a good defense, though, in that game, too. Yeah. Except for at the end. I mean, to allow Trubisky to hit that big pass, wow.
But let's be honest. Again, Philadelphia now has to face, what, L.A.?
No, they got New Orleans.
They got New Orleans?
Yeah.
Either way, though, they don't have a shot.
Well, don't write anybody off.
I think you can write off in the NFC. No one is getting past New Orleans. No one's getting past L.A.
Wait a minute. The teams that didn't play, Kansas City, the Rams, New England, New Orleans, they all got healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. But out of the four teams there, again, with L.A., with Kansas City, with New Orleans, with New England, I think 3 out of the 4 are guarantees in my mind. The one team that I can see absolutely getting beat, upset, per se, the team that looks the most vulnerable of what we saw throughout the season is New England. I honestly think New England, I think the Chargers could beat them. Even on the road at Foxborough, as much as that
Rams could be vulnerable.
I don't really believe it.
Well,
LA of what they've been doing this season.
They gave up a lot of points, though. They gave up a lot of points.
But they can answer back with a lot of points as well on their side. With Goff, again, they have a lot of weapons to answer back on the at least offensive side.
All right, so real quick here before I see we're at the top of the hour. On Saturday will be the first game, Indianapolis at KC. That will be at Arrowhead. That will be followed up by the late contest in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum as the Rams will host Dallas. On Sunday, the Los Angeles Chargers will be in Foxborough. They'll have the early game against the New England Patriots, and the afternoon tilt will be in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome as New Orleans will face Philadelphia.
I guess folks listening in, there's no point to, at least I guess you're watching football on Sunday, because Saturday you got better things to do, like listen to LCCC basketball.
We got a double dip up in
Casper. Again, major, at least Region 9 North action coming up this Saturday. Again, 2 premier, at least schools getting underway.
We should be done by the time Dallas and the Rams will kick off.
That's awful. At least for us as a 49er fan. LA and Dallas.
I know.
That's ugly. That's gross.
Thank you. I could have said that better. All right, we need to step into hour number 2. We'll be right back after these words right here in 1480 KRAE.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local. It's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And Wyoming Sports Talk Today, hour number 2, being brought to you by Marv's Plumbing and Heating at 1515 Logan Avenue. Mondello's Pizzeria over at 1507 Stillwater Avenue. Suite D in the Greenway Commons, open 7 days a week. Open Monday through Friday. It's First Tier Bank directly across the street, 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Lennox Auto Body and the Auto Glass and Detail Center. That is located on Pershing Boulevard, the Auto Repair Center over on Dunn Avenue. Medicap Pharmacy on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Platte Valley Bank ×2, the East Side location right across, actually at the corner of College and Pershing, and, of course, the original location on Vandehei. KF Cheyenne over on Nation Way, Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Delrange, and they are directly across from Menards. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service on Highway 30, and Taco John's of Cheyenne, where today it is Taco Tuesday. We get our program underway as we always do at the top of the hour with our scoreboard. It's being brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne. Here's Nick.
Recapping from last night, LCCC Golden Eagles in action here in town as they played host to number 23 ranked Western Nebraska Cougars, and a team that was 12-4 coming into last night's contest. Well, guess what? They will be 12-5 after a Tyrese Potomac game-winning three with at least 2.4 seconds left remaining in that contest. But either way, though, LCCC upsets the number 23 ranked Cougars with a final score of 93-90. So congratulations to LCCC on the victory last night. NHL action for tonight. Boston Bruins at home at TD Garden playing host to the Minnesota Wild. You will also see the New Jersey Devils in Buffalo taking on the Sabres. New York Islanders hosting Carolina Hurricanes. Florida Panthers in Pittsburgh taking on the Penguins at PPG Paints Arena. In the capital city, at least of the nation, Washington Capitals playing host to the Philadelphia Flyers. Montreal Canadiens in Detroit taking on the Red Wings. Tampa Bay Lightning hosting the Columbus Blue Jackets. Dallas Stars in St. Louis taking on the Blues at Enterprise Center. Winnipeg Jets hosting the Colorado Avalanche. New York Rangers traveling out to Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada to see the Vegas Golden Knights. And in the Shark Tank, San Jose Sharks playing host to the Edmonton Oilers. That's what's happening in NHL action for tonight.
And for the National College Championship in football last night, it was Clemson over Alabama, 44-16.
Clemson, your first 15-0 team since the at least 1800s.
So congratulations to the Clemson Tigers. They are the national football champions of college football. We move on to the NBA scoreboard, and let's get you caught up here in the National Basketball Association. Here are the games that are expected for tonight. Cavaliers hosting the Pacers, Wizards at the 76ers. Nuggets will try to rebound after last night's loss in the Toyota Center. They'll head to American Airlines Arena in Miami to take on the Heat. It will be the Hawks and the Raptors in the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. In OKC, the Thunder hosting the Timberwolves. Kings of Sacramento, they'll take on the Phoenix Suns at the Talking Stick Resort Arena. Oracle Arena tonight has the Warriors hosting the Knicks, and the Clippers tonight at Staples. They will entertain the Charlotte Hornets.
Hold on. You can't forget it.
I know,
San Diego, Colorado. At least San Diego,
Colorado.
California. Anyways, it feels like it as how many Californians are moving out to at least Colorado. But
Colorado has become California
pretty much at this point in time. But anyways, though, the Wyoming Cowboys 4-11 will be in San Diego taking on the Aztecs of San Diego State. Again, a team that is 8-6. Game getting underway at 8 o'clock tonight. You can see it on CBS Sports Network if you really want to. Again, at this point, 4-11.
You sound real convincing on that.
Yeah, again, I think we have better college product here in town than across the hill in Laramie right now with how that team's playing. But anyways, that's my opinion.
Yeah, and our scoreboard is brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Hi, I'm Alex White, tea master at Pure Leaf. When I make tea, everything I know goes into it. You can't be impatient. When I craft Pure Leaf iced tea, I don't take shortcuts, because I want you to have the same amazing taste of iced tea that I do. So I start with fresh picked tea leaves. Then, after they're delicately dried, I blend and brew them at a lower temperature to draw out their unique aromas. And then I taste and fine-tune the blend for a delicious smooth iced tea. I'd love to have you take a sip right now, but that's one thing we can't do over the radio. But you can experience the same delicious taste of Pure Leaf iced tea anywhere you are. I'm Alex White, Pure Leaf Tea Master. Pure Leaf, our thing is tea.
Got something to say? Then get it off your chest right now. Phone lines are open at 307-514-1071. Make your opinion count and call the show. Wyoming Sports Talk today.
Hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk Day. I wanted to mention one thing on the bowl scene before we put that all to bed, because I know you were talking about it, and I don't know if you had it technically in your plans, because I know when you visited your mother to celebrate Christmas, you had talked about maybe catching the Boise State game against Boston College.
No.
I know
it was the Army Houston.
Okay.
That was in Fort Worth there, where the TCU Horned Frogs play at the Armed Forces Bowl. But yeah, again, tickets were just kind of insanely overpriced.
Well, talk about a bowl game and two schools getting gypped. I would think.
Yeah, that was at the Cotton Bowl, so that was out there in Dallas. But yeah, talk about again, not even it was schools that got gypped. Fans that got gypped. Yeah. Again, outside entities who wanted to go see that game. And also, too, talk about conference, at least for the Mountain West Conference, where you had to broker a deal to get Boise into that bowl game to showcase off that team, and we're unable to. And that also, too, might upset a few Cowboy fans because, again, in that deal allowed BYU to go travel to the at least Idaho Potato Bowl, where they competed and eventually won their bowl game, where, again, it was a brokered deal to get Boise outside of at least an at-large bid so they can kind of showcase their efforts.
I mean, this is one of those rare, phenoms that happen.
Yeah. Again, it was deemed a no contest, will not be made up. It was just, hey, congrats on a bowl game, and that's it.
Unfortunately for the fans that did travel from Boston College and from the Boise, Idaho area, this is not like you get a rain check for this. I mean, basically, you bought the plane ticket, you spent the weekend, or this game was on a Wednesday.
Well, and that's again, a lot of these bowl games have the little minor kind of details, the shady details of, you invoke kind of it's almost like
you give up your right to sue them if something bad happens.
It's kind of like what airlines do of, hey, if anything happens, again, where you get a flight canceled on you, you take full responsibility because you understand, at least reading the fine print, you understand that, hey, it's liable on you. It's not to blame on them. So, again, it's something that Boise State has said they would come out and try to at least refund or at least kind of appease to those fans that didn't make it out.
I'm wondering if each team did get a guarantee because, again, tickets were sold.
Yeah.
So, and again, Boise State had to sell X amount. Boston College had to sell X amount. And then the Cotton Bowl had to sell X amount for the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl.
Blah, 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 yeah.
Anyway, there's three entities that had to sell tickets to, make the nut, so to speak. And I'm wondering if they did get a purse out of that, because again, with the Boston,
I
Boise
think they
State,
had to.
You got to get some cash, and then you got to share with the rest of the Mountain West.
I think right now, of anything, I think the schools are probably taking the hit where they're refunding monies more than the probably bowl entity is at this point.
Yeah, I think
because Boston College and Boise State came out and said, "Hey, we're going to at least
make it good
to the fans." When I think that's absolutely the right thing to do. Again, should the sponsor of this Armed Forces, or not even Armed Forces, but the First Responder Bowl, do something about this or maybe help out? I think that would be nice, but is it going to happen? Probably not. But it is one of those rarities. It's only apropos that it happens to a Mountain West team as well after the big controversy of trying to get them in an at-large bid, had to basically kick Wyoming to the curb for BYU to move on into the Potato Bowl. It just causes an interesting kind of web of things, especially here in the Mountain West Conference.
Yeah. So, we'll not really much has been said, though, about it. It was like it was canceled, and then
they're trying to – it's almost like they're trying to tuck it away, essentially, of kind of put it
sweeping it under the rug, absolutely. All right, so we want to move on now and talk some basketball. And then we'll be talking some hockey as we will have our Cheyenne Stampede show. Coach Breen will be in, and he will have Kody, is it Kifer?
Kifer, I do believe.
Yeah, forward, who they picked up in a trade from San Diego, if I'm not mistaken.
I do believe so.
All right, well, we'll have both.
Either way, we'll talk with him and get the full scoop on
and we'll talk about the Dallas trip, where they were in Plano, Texas.
Plano, Texas, yeah.
So we'll have that coming up here in a little bit. But over the weekend, the Taco John's invite featuring
feels like
high
an
school.
Eternity ago.
Well, and again, for these teams, they get that tournament feel.
Yeah.
Especially for the regionals, which will be here.
Tournament-ish feel, because, again, this is the rare time, especially for our local high schools, where they're playing at their home gyms, where everything, especially our games that we'll have remaining on the high school schedule, get shifted on over to Story Gym now.
Where they'll have the regionals.
Again, however you feel about it, I'm more, at least, I want it more of, hey, East and South. Let's determine where one's going to be playing at the Thunderdome, the other time you're playing in South in front of those home court, at least, where, again, East puts on a presentation, South puts on their own unique there in their own high school, in their own gymnasium. I'm more of the purist of, hey, let's just keep it at home. Don't do any more of this neutral site as much as the renovations with Story Gym. Sure, it's great that they upgraded that place, but it doesn't. To me, it takes away.
But if you put an East Central game, and I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
If you put East Central at the field house, not going to fit everybody. It doesn't work. And again, being an East grad that you are, and your mom a Central grad, okay? The thing is, there are still a lot of that alumni that live in this town. And when East Central gets together, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, you got to play in a venue like Story Gym. You have been in there. I have been in there. And I did the game last year where we looked across the way, because I was with Wayne Welk. We looked across the way, and 3/4 of that was filled at Story Gym. Forget it. Thunderdome would have been overcrowded.
Well, I get that, but again, I think more for the players, it's, hey, it's your home school, it's your home gym. Again, you practice there, you know those hoops very well. It gives you a slight advantage that, again, where, yes, it goes neutral on Story Gym. For me as a purist, I'd rather have it played at those respective high schools instead of a neutral gym. But I understand of the long run of, hey, it prepares them for regionals, even though regionals will be at Story, and also too it prepares you for state tournament time.
And also with South now coming into the situation,
it just feels like they rarely play now at their home gym.
I know, but South has a big student body as well, and as they're now starting to get alumni, and again. City of Cheyenne is going to show up to watch a South versus East, South versus Central type of matchup. Story Gym is the big dog that can hold the excess capacity. So I agree with
I'm just saying, back in the day, before it moved to Story Gym, it never seemed like an issue to host it at the field house.
East and Central always was at Story Gym, Nick. Always. There's never been one.
I can't remember.
Believe me, as many games as I call from there, it's always been at Story Gym.
Either way, though, it just seems like these teams are playing less and less games at their home gymnasiums. They're on the road again with the foreign, at least kind of Colorado tournaments, or going up to Gillette, competing on the road, going up at least taking on the northern.
They'll play at home against the Laramies. They'll play at home against the Sheridans, the Gillettes. And if I'm not mistaken, this year we have Natrona, don't we? I don't know, in the quadrant. I think it's Casper Natrona this year. So
yeah,
all those teams are going to play at the various facilities: Thunderdome, South High, and at the field house.
I think it's Kelly Walsh.
I think it's Natrona this year.
I can't remember, because either way they'll swap, so it'll be even more.
But the point is, though, they'll have half of their schedule at their facility. And then half of their home schedule will be at Story Gym, which I think is okay. It's not bad.
Anyways, though.
All right, so your thoughts on the 3 days, and again, you saw different teams each day.
Yeah, whether it was Casper Kelly Walsh, whether it was Rock Springs, or the final day with Riverton. In the 6 games that we saw, that we called, myself and Chris Polton, again, went 5-1. The only loss being the Central High boys against Casper Kelly Walsh. Kelly Walsh Trojans, they're a good outfit. We saw them before at East. They have their struggles against East High, but let's be honest, the Thunderbirds prove why they are the #1 team. They proved it against Rock Springs on Friday, where it was a running clock in that contest, and rightfully so. Again, Thunderbirds are the team to beat in Class 4A. There's no doubt about it. I think right now, of what we saw over this past weekend, there's no doubt about it. Central High girls, they're a good outfit.
Yeah.
I think it's a team you need to respect. It's a team that needs to keep a close eye on, especially with Coach Glenn Kirkbride and what he's doing over there for the Lady Indians. That's a team that could make a splash come regionals and state tournament time.
He had some youngsters I remember from a couple seasons back that are now seniors. Yeah. He's got a good mixture of veterans and young talent. I think they are doing a good job. They've had this start before. They've had good starts, and then they kind of peter out when it came to conference play. So we'll see here. Once in
I think the Lady Indians, you have a good litmus test of what they are. Are they the top dog in Class 4A across the state? Probably not, but it's a team that can make a splash, can surprise a few teams across the state. When it comes to regionals, when it comes to state tournament time, I think Coach Kirkbride has a good, at least, kind of basis out there at Central. Now, looking at the boys, you lost to a tough Kelly Walsh team, but I think the issue right now for the Indians, for Tag Lanes,
I don't think they're a good shooting team.
I would agree with you on that one, but also, too, their main issue is it feels like this is a team that's trying to put the entire weight of it on Lawson Lovering's shoulders right now, and he needs a lot more compliments behind, at least around him. Again, a guy who is only a sophomore. He's still young. He's still developing, at least into his basketball career. Right now, I see that with the Centrals. They're trying to rely on him to put up the points, relying on him to do everything for this team.
And you notice
he needs someone to compliment.
You notice they're passing up those shots to get it into Lovering, and that's a good thing. I mean, it's not a bad thing.
He's got the height advantage, absolutely, but he's still young. He can still make those mental miscues that are costing at least Central High Indians.
But this is what's happening on that offense, and I don't know if Coach Lane is seeing that as I am. What they're doing is they're second guessing themselves.
Yeah.
So they got the ball outside, or they got it, 15, 16 feet away. Instead of taking the shot, they're thinking, just do it, just shoot it. And what they're doing is, should I shoot it or get it to Lovering? And again, it's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Lovering can't score 100 points. He
he probably could, but right now, that's what Central is kind of believing in.
And it's a team game. There's 4 other guys on the floor.
Again, Central right now, it's a team that needs to realize that they cannot put the entire weight of that team on Lawson Lovering's shoulders, that they need someone to complement them, if not a few other entities. And again, whether that is the Storbo twins out there, Burke as well, again, you need someone out there to assist them. And I think it's a team that will eventually develop and figure out that identity. But right now, especially when you go against these upper elites of Casper, when you do face off against your at least in-city rival of East, you're going to find out that, again, you can't do that, at least to beat these teams. Now shifting focus to Friday, where, again, we saw East, both boys and girls, they're for real. Let's, again, keep it plain and short on that one. Lady Thunderbirds, they're a good outfit. Absolutely. Again, Kai Buell of what she does, again, kind of the forefront. She had a little bit of quiet game against Rock Springs. There might have been a little added emotions as her former high school team, but I think with what Coach Eric Wessling has right now on the floor, that is a team I can absolutely see becoming state champions. They have all the pieces out there. It is a good outfit.
And aside from Kai, I mean, Coach Wesling's been coaching these young ladies. In some cases,
he knows what
he's
doing. He knows what he's doing. Plain simple, and same with Rusty Horsley on the guy's side. Again, you can't deny Eric Oliver, the McCord twins,
and much more. I think
much more. Absolutely. Again, they have a great outfit as well. They are the #1 team for a reason, and they're going to probably stay it for quite some time, if not become your state champions. I think East right now, out of the 3 high schools in town, I think East has a legitimate shot, could pull what Campbell County did last year of both boys and girls holding state titles in basketball.
Remember, it's only January.
Absolutely, but again, so far on the litmus test of what we saw, again, as we got 4A play this past weekend, East is a good outfit. Now regarding South, again, taking on Riverton on the girls' side. Again, don't discredit. I still want to believe that Chad DeBryan's Lady Fighting Bison out of Cheyenne South, that is a dark horse team.
And they actually had a good Taco John's invite. It wasn't bad.
It was rough. Yeah, I mean, again, they went 0-2, but again,
they beat Riverton.
That first night, though, where, again, you had a 15-point lead at half, and you end up losing it by 2 in overtime. That one's a little bit of a stinger, but yes, it does show that they can be competitive. But again, at that point, up until Saturday, they were 0-2 in the Taco John's invite. So again, you're based off of wins and losses. I still believe, again, what we saw out there at Fighting Bison's gymnasium, that the Lady Fighting Bison, they can be another team that could be a thorn in the side of some teams across.
I think the days of, as you mentioned earlier, like a running clock, the days of getting boat raced by 30, 40 points, I think those days have come and gone.
As soon as South figured out, at least on the offensive side, started moving and getting things kind of in pieces, Cheyenne South, they kind of boat raced Riverton at a point in time. And then
they could be the boat racer, not the boat racee.
Which is, again, kind of turns at least switch of fortunes for them compared to last year, where they were kind of the rug mat for Class 4A. They have a little chip on their shoulder going, hey, we're no longer that team. We're a better and improved team, and we're out here to prove something. So, again, kudos to Chad DeBryan of what he's doing right now over at Cheyenne South. For Jeff Bailey on the boys' side, it's a team that's going to develop. It's a team that's going to have to take its time. Again, they did pick up a crucial win. Again, as they went in 0-2 that Saturday against Riverton, did pick up the win against at least the Wolverines. But it is a team that is going to need some time to develop and find an identity for themselves. They cause way too many turnovers. It's a team that needs to find its identity at this point. It needs to find its groove, needs to find as well its offense. That offense can go quiet, can go cold at certain points and times. And I think Jeff Bailey, again, guy who's been in the business, he's been a head coach for quite some time, especially previously at Cheyenne East. He knows how to turn that team around. For me, though, looking at this team, it's a team that it's going to take a while. If not, again, once we get into kind of the quadrant play, maybe that's where they figure out things and kind of improve on this season.
Yeah. Real quick here, as we got to get into a break in just a bit. You mentioned the Cowboys; they're in action tonight.
Yeah,
sitting down, having coffee this week. And oh, by the way, I kind of fell on the floor a little bit too, learning that Nevada had lost.
I was not surprised.
I was. I thought they were going to run the table.
On the road at New Mexico, that is a tough place.
I understand you're playing the pit, but again, you've got the 5 cats out there that can.
I go back to what I said in the preseason. It would not surprise me. It did not surprise me that they did lose on the road to New Mexico. I had a feeling that they were. I also gave them kudos that they would probably run the table, but it was a situation of, hey, again, there's always that game for any college team, whether it is a Gonzaga, whether it is the #1 Duke Blue Devils. For Nevada, it's something that is going to happen.
Right. But, going to
is it going to affect them? No, they're still the premier
they're
team.
They're going to take it out on the next team.
They're still a premier team in Mountain West.
But
they are the team to beat still.
The Wyoming Cowboys, though, boy, the discussion on the Cowboys, and again, the crowd, last crowd they had with Boise was awful.
Oh, yeah.
No support for the Cowboys.
They have yet to beat UNLV at Thomas and Mack. I think it's a streak that is extended out to, 15 wins in a row?
They lost to Boise, who's under 500. This goes back to our discussion, Nick, that we had numerous times, that Coach Edwards, and he can stand pat with what he's doing, bringing in those freshmen where they have 5 years to play 4. You know what? And again, it was brought up even in the discussion with us armchair guys, media guys. Yeah. You may want to start taking a serious look at the JUCO route. You may only have these guys. You get them 3 for 2.
Yeah,
3 years to play 2. But also they have played in a college atmosphere. They're not fresh out of high school. And all they did in high school was score 85 points and never played a lick of defense.
You in this state, you have talent. You have, even in this region, again, with Region 9, again, look to Scotts Bluff. That's, about 100 and so miles away from Laramie, Wyoming.
And where most of those guys are going to go, they're going to go east.
Yeah, they're going to probably go to the University of Nebraska or again.
Chadron State, whatever.
Yeah, again, to at least better programs where they're going to have that opportunity. But you even go to last night of what we saw with LCCC again, a Courtney Dean who can be a phenomenal product. Even Tyrese Potoma, as much as he might be a little bit undersized for what the needs of an Allen Edwards, but a guy who can show that he can hit from behind the arc. He is a phenomenal shooter. Again, even with the bigs of,
could Applegren be a help? Could Stephon Manzi be help? I don't know about so much Collier, but I would say right now guys that might be D1 ready.
Yeah,
those are a couple guys right there. Is a Spragon? He's got to put some weight on him. But again, it's just something that Coach Edwards needs to bear in mind, that this going with this group here, and again, they're going to get better. I'm not going to take anything away from them. But are they going to be the real deal by the time they're seniors? I think not. I don't think this is a good group. And they're not meshing well, and they're hurt.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, way too many injuries
Yeah,
this
they're
year.
way too vulnerable right now, especially on the injury side.
And again, the pool is out. They're 4-11 right now. Will they get to 10 wins?
I don't
say
think so.
No.
I really don't believe it. Again, do we see them even defeating a San Jose State? Any
Maybe
of these
a
lower
split. I think
possibly,
I see
but it's a
split
big
of the
question
Rams.
at this point in time of if they can even win a handful of games in the Mountain West.
Here's what I see right now: Air Force split, Rams split, San Jose split. They lose 2 times to San Diego State. They're going to get dumped by the Aggies. Wolfpack going to get blown away.
Yeah, there should be a running clock in NCAA.
There might be 4 or 5 Mountain Conference wins for the Cowboys this year. Guess what? That gives them 9 wins on the year. They don't get 10. All right, we do need to take a timeout. It is our Cheyenne Stampede Coaches Show, forthcoming after these words right here on 1480 KRAE. There are a lot of things that can go wrong with your vehicle, and most of it is a minor problem. And John at Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service knows the right way to get you back on track. So with temperatures heading south, now's the perfect time to winterize your car or truck. This can be done with a simple oil change, maybe a tune-up, checking the thermostat, brakes, and shocks. It's the little and important repairs that Cars has performed on all makes of vehicles now for over 25 years to keep you motoring along in any season. For an appointment, call 632-0498 or stop on by at 604 West Linkaway. Cheyenne Auto Repair and Service, open Monday through Friday.
You can actually get something good for your health at a drive-thru window. When you order your next prescription from Medicap Pharmacy, call ahead and use our drive-thru window. Or you can call for free delivery. You can even log on to Medicap.com and order a prescription refill. Your Medicap pharmacist will call you to make arrangements for pickup or delivery.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
1480 KRAE is your home for live play-by-play coverage of high school basketball and football. Hi, this is Nick Brody inviting you to hear all the play-by-play calls of East, Central, and South football and basketball. You'll hear the conference action along with the postseason, and during the basketball season, 1480 KRAE features both boys and girls games. Catch all the exciting calls on AM 1480 KRAE, also streaming the games worldwide on the web at 1480krae.com.
In life, you question everything. The same should be true when it comes to managing your wealth. What are your investment recommendations based on? How much are you paying in fees? And how can those fees impact your returns? Charles Schwab encourages investors to get engaged and ask tough questions. To learn more, call the Schwab Cheyenne branch at 307-459-0998 or visit schwab.com/Cheyenne. Charles Schwab and Company, Incorporated. Member SIPC.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 45 and winds out of the west at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And for tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 21. On Wednesday, it'll be partly sunny with highs around 52. And on Wednesday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 30.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480 KRAE.
We're back on Wyoming Sports Talk Today. We reserve the final half hour of our program for our coaches segment. It is Cheyenne Stampede coaches segment. Neil Breen joins us. He also has brought a player in. I do believe it's Kody. Is it Kifer?
Cody Kifer.
Cody Kifer will be joining us here in a few moments. But, when we think hockey with the Cheyenne Stampede, we all think Dallas.
I mean, you have the Dallas Stars.
I know you have the Dallas Stars, but really,
they're doing all right.
You're in Plano, Texas for a trifecta of games over the weekend. I guess first off, it's a long road trip because again, we don't have the luxury of hopping aboard the Lance jet and head over to Dallas. It's
even though we have a direct flight out of Cheyenne now.
No, it's a long arse bus ride, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a long one. We drove through the night in a sleeper bus, which has about 30 beds and like a little coach's lounge up front, and so it was a comfy ride.
Kudos to your driver, huh? Who stays awake and does all that.
Kudos to Mark Lance, who actually I'm actually surprised he actually got you something like that. I'm surprised you didn't just go all hop in a car and just get on down.
Yeah, no, it's. I think that's kind of the way she goes for the long trips. That's the way Mark's done it for years now. Is on the long trips, instead of taking the flight, you take the sleeper bus. It's a good experience for the guys to kind of have that sort of long trip experience. I mean, I remember doing it a ton as a pro. So
essentially kind of like that bonding, or at least kind of that team building. Is it just a situation like that of, hey, let's keep them on? As much as it's a long road trip, you're going to be together for a long point in time, but is that opportunities where you can kind of build on that team building, get people familiarized with each other?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a different kind of road experience where you're not just on a short trip, longer trip. You're getting on and off the bus for meals. You're, everybody's kind of sleeping in the same spot and going through the same sort of adversity. It's also good preparation for, for the next level. I mean, at the next level, there's opportunities to take long trips. I mean, at the college level, obviously, you're flying everywhere. At D1, D3, you do take some long trips, but typically they're close. But at the pro level, you're definitely there are some, especially minor pro, there's quite a few scenarios where you're taking the long sleeper bus type trips.
Let's talk about this outfit out of Plano, Texas, as you had 3 meetings with them over the weekend. And again, they were above 500. So this was a non-slouch team that you were going up against. So it's one of those where you had to prove yourself out there, and I think for the most part, you have to be okay with some of the results.
Yeah, I was okay with the effort for the whole trip. I mean, our effort was there. We dropped some details in the first game, and we had some issues with a few guys not kind of showing up mentally prepared, but so they got ahead of us early, and we just couldn't climb out of the hole. But we won our third periods of every game, and we competed hard. I was real proud of our majority of our decor, for the weekend. I was proud of our offensive lineups, for a majority of the weekend. Like, we played hard. We competed really hard. They weren't, despite what the scores say, they weren't the games where it was just a complete blowout. It was, sort of dug ourselves into a hole and then kind of couldn't get out of it. We had way more grade A opportunities than they did. Grade A meaning in the gold zone of shooting, where you can score from the most. We had a lot of those opportunities and just couldn't seem to find the mesh.
Well, the interesting kind of, at least, trend that I'm noticing, especially after the past kind of 4 series, that includes the Vegas showcase as well, too, is Friday and Sunday, not your best days for the Cheyenne Stampede, but those Saturdays have been kind of perfect again, where at least in the past 4 series you've actually picked up wins, whether it is regular, at least the regulation win, or overtime win. But again, 4 series in a row so far, you've picked up a win, especially on those Saturdays. What is making Saturday so special for the Cheyenne Stampede, but for Friday and Sunday it's kind of been a difficulty?
Yeah, that's that's kind of goes back to our original discussions about maturity and age and understanding how to kind of come off a bus trip and come off of being groggy and perform, for those Friday games. And then, on Saturday, you kind of, you got the bus legs out and you're just playing a game after a full night's sleep. So Saturdays are typically like when your body's running at, full capacity versus, bus legs and things like that. And then the Sunday games are tough for anybody. It's a third game against the same team. It's usually earlier in the day, which is kind of, your clock isn't really set to play that game. So, as you get older in this league, we get better at those moments. And I think it's only a matter of time before we start figuring that part out too.
But it is a positive trend, though. It's something that I want to keep on. Again, for the past 4 series, though, you picked up some sort of win, whether it is regulation or overtime. Again, so far of what we've been kind of discussing for the past few months of this team, is it's now trending in the positive direction.
Absolutely. And in my experience with teams kind of on this track, this is kind of how it works. Your Saturday games start looking a lot better, and then the guys sort of start to learn how to operate a little better and be mentally prepared off the bus. And then for that morning game, I mean, that's tough for anybody. That's kind of one of those things where we're still learning that the best thing to do on a Sunday game is come out and be tough. Play hard and tough and kind of catch people sleeping.
You said something, and again, I always try to find that one key phrase that you mentioned when you come in here and sit down with us, and you said that some of the guys weren't mentally prepared. Now, you demand this from your team, and you expect this from your team when they're on the ice, when they are game ready. Yep. When you say they weren't mentally prepared, what I'm thinking to myself, you lace up the skates, you put on the pads, you're ready to go out there and start knocking some heads. What happens? I mean, they get on the ice, and what do they do?
Yeah, that's a good question. Hockey's the fastest thinking team sport in the world. It's the fastest team sport in the world. So you're not only are you traveling faster than any other athlete, but you got to think faster too. There's positions you got to be on the ice. As a goaltender, you got to be on your angles. You're constantly thinking on the move, and so for some guys that's not always easy to do right off the bus, and so or after a long trip or what have you. So in a goaltender example, like retreating a little bit too much back into the crease, which opens up more scoring opportunities for whoever's coming at you, versus being on top of that crease and being tight on your angles. Things like that. Or from a defensive standpoint, a D-man, he gets caught outside the dot lines, and which makes it easy for a forward to skate to the inside and create a scoring opportunity. Those things, you're not quick on the fire. You're not firing the quick thoughts sometimes when you're, a little groggy, or maybe you didn't get enough sleep on the bus or whatever. So that mental preparation is important in the game of hockey, because you gotta remember your baseline, where you need to be in certain situations, and where you need to recover to if you make a mistake and things like that. And sometimes when you're not mentally prepared, you're kind of just relying on your instincts as a player, which a lot of times in this case, in this league, instincts coming off of youth hockey and things like that, where you don't really have coaches that are teaching you these baselines.
Like the great coaches, and I'll throw out a Bill Belichick. They got a piece of paper, and again, you've got notes too, and you're do you have that pen with you, and you're writing down? Okay, Nick was backing up in the crease too early. Do you write yourself those little notes, and then in between periods you have that chance to go, hey, Nick, or hey, team, this is what I saw that we did here in period one? Yeah,
I do. I typically track like now I've been doing it for so long now that I'll track a lot of those things mentally, but once the once the amount of things start to increase past my mental capacity, I'll start writing those things down. I'll bring them up to a guy. Typically I won't bring them up too much during the game. Usually it's in between periods, or a lot of times it's before the next game, so they can remember going in. Because if you think about it, they got a lot of things to remember. So if you start flooding their heads full of all of these things that they've already forgotten, sometimes it becomes a bit of a mental overload. So yeah, I definitely write these things down and call attention to them when it's necessary.
Do we want to at least spotlight, as we have a player at least coming up here in a few short minutes to talk with Kody Kifer. But again, do believe Kody at least new product for the Cheyenne Stampede, part of a trade. What has he kind of brought to the table? As I'm looking at least at the victory down there in Plano, Texas against the Dallas Snipers, came away with 1 goal, 2 assists. So again, offensive product. But talk about his kind of addition for the Cheyenne Stampede.
Yeah, Kody plays with passion, which is something that is a rarity in today's world of younger people.
You could just say millennials. Go right ahead.
It's he plays with passion. He goes out and works hard every shift, and he's got a lot of fire in him too, which I really like. He's not afraid of anybody. If someone wants to drop the gloves and go, he'll go. He's not afraid of anybody, no matter how big or small. And he fits the mold of the type of players that we've talked about. He'll get in the corners, he'll get in the tight areas in front of the net, he'll take a beating and do whatever it takes to get the job done. And he's got some skill and speed, which is great. For us, he really adds to our top 6 on the offensive side of things. He helps our first unit power play out with that speed and with that skill. I mean, he's the complete package. He's got some bridges to cross to be ready for college, just like anybody. But we really like the addition of Kody Kifer. He's helped us a ton.
And it seems like the young men that you've been bringing in here on a week by week basis. These are the guys that you brought in.
Yep.
And these are the guys that are ones that say, hey, I want to play for Coach Breen. I've played for Coach Breen. I know what is expected of me from Coach Breen.
Yeah.
And you're starting to build that program with those type of players, whether you get them from California, whether you get them from the left coast, the East Coast, or you get them from Middle America, or even Canada. You're starting to get the players to make your team the Cheyenne Stampede's team.
Yeah. I mean, we talk a lot about it in the off season when recruiting is identity being really important. It takes a special player to play in this area. It takes someone that's more often than not focused on the game and not the aesthetics. This is a great town. It's a slow town. There's not a ton to do off the ice, so that's not attractive to some guys that care more about other things than hockey. So the identity of this team has to be guys that are passionate about hockey and that are just ready to go to the rink and play. And I think that we're getting closer and closer to that with the guys that we have and with the new guys that we've brought in.
Essentially, that your kind of blue-collar player essentially bringing out here to the likes of Cheyenne, Wyoming. So
exactly.
At least do want to remind folks coming up this weekend, 3-game homestand series as Cheyenne Stampede finally back at home at the Ice and Event Center after it's been, about a month since you've been over there.
You remember where that's at, Coach, right? The Ice and Event Center, you remember where it's at?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I mean, it seems like you've been away from there for quite a while.
It's been a while, but at least for the Cheyenne Stampede, we'll be back there this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They will see the Utah Outliers come into town. Again, Friday and Saturday, 7:35, puck drop, and then Sunday's matinee contest at 1 o'clock.
Tough outfit coming into town.
Oh, yeah. We're ready for the challenge. I mean, I think with the way we've been playing, I think I look forward to it. It should be good games.
All right, Coach, we want to thank you so much for joining us once again on our Cheyenne Stampede Coaches Show. We'll get a chance to talk with Kody Kifer coming up after these words right here on 1480 KRAE.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Cheyenne's oldest coin dealer and supplier, The Coin Shop, is proud to serve the community since 1982. Trade or sell your gold, silver, and other precious metals. Visit with David and the knowledgeable staff for a fair and honest assessment of your valuables. Located at 510 West Lincoln Way. Call them today at 778-7196 to schedule your personal consultation.
Let First Education Federal Credit Union help make buying your next car a breeze. At First Education, you get competitive rates and deal with friendly local folks. Be in control by getting pre-approved and know what you have to spend before going to the dealer. Call 432-7400, go to firstedfcu.com, or visit us in person at 120 West Carlson Street with approved credit, membership eligibility required, federally insured by NCUA.
Feeling that cool Wyoming breeze in the early morning? So now's the time to make sure your furnace is in good repair. And Marv's Plumbing Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue is the place to go. Marv's trained technicians can inspect, repair, and replace your furnace and boiler and are available 24/7. Freezing temperatures in Wyoming can happen at any time. No one wants to shiver in their own home. Don't get the chills. Stay cozy. Call Marv's Plumbing and Heating at 316-7634 today.
You love the Lennox difference, from collision repair to minor nicks and dents. Certified quality you can trust. Nobody cares about your car more than us. Lennox Auto Body, we do what we say. We fix it right and get you on your way. No shortcuts, no compromise. Lennox Auto Body. No shortcuts, no compromise.
Lennox Auto Body at 1020 Dunn Avenue and the Detail Center at 617 East Pershing Boulevard, Cheyenne.
Bad cough or the flu got you down? Dr. Howard Willis, with over 23 years of medical experience, is now your local physician for family health and primary care. Located at 1616 East 19th Street with Dr. Joseph Dobson, Dr. Willis offers that wise counsel to get you back on the road to good health. DOTs and walk-ins are always welcome. So next time a bad cold or flu grabs you, call Dr. Willis at 631-8430. That's 631-8430.
Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. Our Super Radio buys, heard only right here, feature Black Velvet Caramel Canadian Whiskey, 1.75-liter bottle, $15.99. Shiner Bock 12-pack of 12-ounce bottles, $14.49. And Sailor Jerry Spiced Rum, 1.75-liter bottle, $21.59. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low-price leader.
Are you tired of paying ATM fees? Hi, this is Rick Flood, president of Platte Valley Bank in Cheyenne. Use your Platte Valley Bank ATM or Visa debit card at any ATM anywhere. We won't charge you a fee on our end, and we'll reimburse any fee you incur at any other ATM. That's right, no ATM fees at Platte Valley Bank. How about that? Platte Valley Bank, 3310 North College Drive and 421 Bandai Avenue, or pvbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Community banking for you.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 KRAE.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 45 and winds out of the west at 10 to 15 miles per hour. And for tonight, it'll be mostly clear with lows around 21. On Wednesday, it'll be partly sunny with highs around 52. And on Wednesday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 30.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing! And it's only here on AM 1480 KRAE.
Our final 10 minutes of our program, we'll get a chance to talk with one of the Stampede players. He is brand new to the Stampede, one Kody Kifer, the Evansville, Indiana product. I do want to mention real quick here, because I always do it at the end, on the way this evening from 8 until 10, we'll have our Golden Age of Radio Theater shows coming up for you, where we'll have 2 Sherlock Holmes from 8 until 9, and then we'll have Suspense Theater coming up from 9 until 10.
A little house cleaning right there. So anyways.
Yeah, well, I just want to get that out of the way. Anyway, so Kody, real quick, and I know we got something else that you got to mention there, too, as we get to the end of the program. You were brought to the Cheyenne Stampede via trade, okay?
Correct.
So first off, where were you traded from to here?
I was traded from Evansville, Indiana. I was playing for the Evansville Junior Thunderbolts in the NA3. I've been here. I was there the past 2.5 years playing in my hometown. So whenever Breen gave me the call about, coming out here to play in Wyoming, I was a little hesitant at first. Kind of, didn't want to make the 15-hour trip away from home, but I knew it was the most beneficial thing for my hockey career.
When you hear the word you're being traded, what's your first thought when you hear the word being traded?
I mean, there's a lot of anxiety, excitement that comes along with it. You're kind of thinking about, how's it going to go? I've never been to this place, things like that. That all kind of runs through your mind. But at the end of the day, I had to make the jump and do what I thought was going to take me the farthest with my hockey career.
Talk about your first kind of stints here in the city of Cheyenne. Obviously, elevation played a bit of a factor, but kind of give us a walkthrough of your first day being here in Cheyenne, Wyoming, compared to and spending most of your time in Evansville, Indiana.
Yeah, so back home, I was a full-time student going to school. But when I got back here, my first day, I was at my billet house for probably 30 minutes, and I lived with Logan Syrup and Brian Waters, and they came in, and they were like, hey, what's up? This is our names, whatever. They're like, come with us. We're going to go hang with the boys. I was like, oh, sweet. So, I didn't really have time to, settle in the house, but, as soon as I got here, everybody took me in as a brother, and we kind of just got into the groove, and things have been going smooth.
But at least the other thing as well, too, with Cheyenne, Wyoming, compared to the middle, at least Midwest, is there is an altitude issue. Again, at least from our off-air talks, that altitude is a for real thing. It is a major factor, at least kind of in athletics.
Oh, yeah, it's huge. Back home I was probably 300 feet above sea level. Here I'm close to 6,200. So my first practice here, I was, begging coach for a water break, every 5 minutes, it does play a huge part in your performance on the ice, and I'm pretty much used to it now, but I can tell sometimes if we take a day or two off.
You mentioned school. What were you doing in school?
I was going to school for business and marketing, specializing in professional sales. I was going to be a pharmaceutical rep, but I put school on hold for this semester to hopefully find a school to play hockey at.
So were you at JUCO or at a four-year institution?
I was at a four-year university, just playing juniors out of my hometown.
So as you progress now with your hockey career here in Cheyenne, and again, Do you see the level of competition? I mean, hockey's hockey, but do you see the level of competition a little different out here than being in the heartland, so to speak?
Yeah, the hockey here is definitely more of my kind of hockey. I like to play like the nitty-gritty, hard in the corners, big body hits, not be afraid to, drop them if you have to. That's kind of how I like to play. And in the NA3, I wasn't really able to showcase my abilities, I guess, in certain ways. But when I came out here, I found that, like, this league is where I think I could best show what I have to offer.
As we're talking a little bit with you, Kody, it sounds like, again, college kind of at least a priority, getting that education there, at least taking a little time off right now. But kind of goals and aspirations for you regarding the hockey career. Are you looking to, again, get back, at least entertain playing for Division I school, Division II hockey, going into, like, again, a minor league? I mean, what do you kind of foresee yourself in the hockey career?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm here, to make it in college hockey. Everybody's dreams to play D1 college hockey. I mean, whether you're, in the WSHL or anywhere else, I mean, that's your dream, is to play D1 hockey and continue your hockey career. But I'm just here to look for a school to play at, and hopefully after I graduate college, I can go play semi-pro somewhere, or even, make it to a better league of some sort. But right now the main goal is just to make it on a college team and get my education.
You're one of the older guys on the team, so to speak, and you're one of those young men that Coach Breener wants to play here in Cheyenne, which, again, this is the team that he's been trying to build here as he now has the about a season and a half's worth that he's had a chance to build this program back up. Do you see yourself as one of those guys for Coach Breener to be that assistant coach on the ice to the younger guys too? Because, your level of play, you're not a thug, but you want to play with the utmost aggressiveness on the ice. And some of the younger guys that are out there right now, not so much that they're timid, but is this something that you are passing along your experience to these guys? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I want to show the younger guys on the team, the rookies, that you got to play with heart all the time, and you can't go out there and be scared. You got to go out there, and I mean, no matter the size of somebody else, if you just keep going, like, you're going to be fine. I just want to be a leader to them and, like, show them how it will help them best succeed through their junior career, just like I did in mine.
You said one word there that's very important: scared. And again, like, this is one of the fastest sports, as Coach Breen said. You're going to get hit. That always happens. Yeah. You're going to get driven into the boards. You're going to get tripped up, whatever the case. You may get into a fight. Bottom line is, these younger guys, what do you see as far as why are they scared? Why are they fearful when they're on the ice?
A lot of the younger guys on our team actually aren't scared. I mean, a lot of them, they are willing to put their bodies on the line. But if you are scared, that's when, you're not allowing yourself to do what you can do best. So you just have to play with no fear and just give it your all.
Yeah, I like that. Again, aggressive intensity, something that Coach Breener, the Breener way of what he's trying to bring to the Cheyenne Stampede, as we give a little joke on that one. Something that we've done with every player that comes into studio. We can assume, again, at least tell on the visual side, whether you're watching on YouTube or Periscope right now, you can tell what the question is going to be, or at least the answer is. But for you, Kody, again, Midwest, you got the Blackhawks. Down south, you have at least the Preds. Maybe out on the Ohio side, Columbus Blue Jackets. Your favorite team, however, comes from the East Coast?
Yeah.
So from the Mecca, no less.
Yeah, playing out there in MSG. The New York Rangers, how'd that become?
I mean, my whole life I've just, like, grown up knowing, like, New York Rangers hockey. Like, that's, like, I grew up just being told, that's the best team. My family's from Brooklyn, New York, so, I mean, that has a big way on it too. But my whole life growing up, it was like, first hockey shirt I got was a New York Rangers t-shirt, so it's like, that's what I like, and that's
born and raised with the red, white, and blue of the Rangers.
First time away from home?
Well, no, my first time away from home was my freshman year of high school, but this is the biggest far.
What I'm leading into, though, is there a little bit of homesickness that's kicked in? I know we had the Christmas holiday that just came up, but I mean, yeah, I mean, brothers, sisters.
I was only here for a week before the Christmas holiday, so it wasn't too bad. But I mean, yeah, I do miss my mom, my dad, my sisters, and things like that. But having the guys here and them being so, like, forthcoming with, like, wanting to get me involved in the team and, like, making that brotherly love, like, a real thing, it really helped out a lot. So
All right, sounds good. Hey, we want to thank Kody Kifer for joining us here on 1480 KRAE. Good luck to you the rest of the season. Thank you again for coming on in, and we wish you all the best this season. And again, take it out on Utah this weekend. Get them young guys to start slamming some of them Utah boys in the boards. What do you got there, Nick?
What I got is handed from the Cheyenne Stampede, something to pass along that Coach Breen, unfortunately, at least didn't do at least in his segment. But
way to get the coach in trouble.
Yeah, sorry.
The phone's ringing right now.
Because again, I don't know much about all this information, so Mark Lance, you can get on me for it. But Cheyenne Stampede, at least Stampede Hockey, will present a night of comedy. It will be the Ozymandian Theater Group, along with also to Daniel Jasperson. This will be at January 26th of this year, 6:45 p.m. It will be at the Mary Godfrey Playhouse. Again, a night of comedy hosted by the Cheyenne Stampede Hockey over the Mary Godfrey Playhouse. Net profit supports Stampede Hockey. Let's see, we're taking a look at adult seating, $25. VIP seating will be $40. Again, tickets are being at least passed around by the Stampede players, but also too are available online where you can purchase it at stampedetickets.com. So, again, a night of comedy.
I'm surprised we weren't invited to be on
I guess we're
stage.
that low on the totem pole out there in Mark Lance's
obviously,
eyes.
Lance better listen to my show over on our sister station, KYOI. All right, with that all being said, real quick here before we head out the door, again, the best of the 50s and 60s. I see we got Marty Robbins, El Paso, locked and loaded. Derek with Cinnamon. And, are you kidding me? We got Jose Feliciano with Light My Fire. Give me a break. Where's the Doors? All right, what do you got there on this date in history?
On this date in history, it is January 8th. We'll go back to the year 1984. I'll even open this up to Kody. Maybe he knows this one. But on this date, January 8th, 1984, the NCAA expanded this out. They announced this and expanded this on this date back in 1984.
No, I'm not even going to take a bite on this.
How about a little March Madness got expanded on this date back in 1984. NCAA announces that basketball tournament, the national tournament, will have 64 teams. So where we are right now, granted, we've had 400 more. So, but yeah, again, it went from the 32 to 64 back on 1984.
All right. Well, with that all being said, we are going to be back again tomorrow from 3 until 5 as we'll have Wyoming Sports Talk today.
LCCC Coaches Show.
LCCC Coaches Show from 4 until 5 with Brian Ortmeyer from 4 to 4:30. And then we'll have Jason Ficca, head coach with his 200th career.